I could have just continued on the language line and how the majority language can be used to impose certain unconditional way, but today we are on refugee. And since October 2016 to date, Ambazonia have been under force from a coalition of marauding Cameroonian and Chadian forces. And beginning from September 2017, the government of Cameroon has waged war on armless, defenseless children, women, and men throughout Ambazonia, deploying anti-personnel weapons, machine guns, as such that even using helicopter gunships to kill Ambazonians. So, leading all of this, we have leading to killing and maiming, and subsequently a displacement of Ambazonian citizens from Ambazonia into Nigeria. And within all of this carnage, the government of the administrator, the Cameroonian administrator, issued a letter in December warning villagers to leave their homes or else. So you have only two choices: either you leave or you get yourself killed. So as of December 2017, we had 40,000 Ambazonian refugees in Nigeria. And so the question always comes, what happens with such people? Actually, these are the reports of yesterday, or of the 8th, from the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. We have 23,000 registered South Ambazonian refugees within Nigeria. That means those are registered. And in December, as I said, in December 2017, the Nigerian authority registered already 40,000. And up to now, the carnage keeps continuing. So we have approximately 70 to 100,000 Ambazonian refugees based currently in Nigeria. And the issue is, at one point in time, it is difficult to understand because we know there are international regulations. Among these 100,000 Ambazonian citizens, we have our interim president, the president of the Ambazonian interim government, was adopted on the 5th of January, alongside 11 of his cabinet members in Nigeria. All of them were refugees transferred to Cameroon. And as of now, nobody, they have never had any visited by a lawyer, no judiciary procedures were made. No, they are incognito. Nobody actually knows if they are still alive, whether they are dead or alive, alongside 39 refugees. So we see many international laws, regulations were broken to extradite those people without any due respect for the international regulations. So the question keeps coming, what happens? Why are we sitting here all the time? Because we come here to explain to the world there are many things that go wrong, but what we wish is that at one point in time, this, with the help of every person who is for the fight of human rights, that the United Nations corrects certain wrongs, because you cannot just take people and say, choose. How did the plight of Ambazonia started? Because in 1961, the United Nations, you have two choices. You get independent by either joining the already independent Republic of Cameroon, or you join the already independent Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so we have 57 years of history, continuous annexation, colonization, assimilation, and the whole of this volcano exploded in 2016, leading to death, maiming, and all of this is being kept in record. But unfortunately, the UN keeps telling us we are observing. So how long do people observe before they intervene? That is my question. And at times it is for us difficult to articulate, because the moment I sit and I look and I feel the pain of one of our mothers who was burnt live with a village called Kwakwa. And from that village, many people fled to Nigeria. And even within the refugee camps, the Cameroonian military succeeded to go in and still attack people across the border. And then you ask yourself, where is, why do we think we keep governing, we keep thinking, okay, the international community is there to take care of minorities. But after what I reflected, I said, actually, we cannot call ourselves minority. We cannot allow ourselves to be minorized all the time. We are 8 million people. We are 8 million people with a right. We had governed ourselves between 1954 till 1961. We were jointly governed under from the UK with under the Nigerian, but we succeeded to say no to Nigeria. We are leaving the Eastern House of Congress to take care of our own business. And then come the time of independence, when most African countries were supposed to attend the independence 60-61. Then the United Nations said no. With at least UK, the United Nations assisted UK in its agenda, said no, you have to gain your independence either by joining. And so here we sit and we are discussing about 100,000 lives and 100,000. But the worst thing is when we have people, their families will never get to know what actually happened to them, because our leaders were 60 days in counting. But the issue of Amazonian refugees did not start yesterday in 2016. It started back since 1972, when the federal system was abolished by the then president of Cameroon. So you have a gradual procedure, and the world keep watching. So I see there are many associations here who are active in the area of human rights. It is important to build that synergy, to keep questioning the authority, because I heard somebody talk of the United Nations Security Council, and the question is, whose security are they guaranteeing? Certainly not the security of the Amazonian leaders, because if not, they would have said something to the Nigerian leadership to question their own integrity, why they should transfer our president, His Excellency Siseko Ayoktabe, and 11 of his cabinet members back to Cameroon without them visiting any courthouse. Thanks.